The name Lauren evokes strength and determination. This is how my spouse thought he could outwit me. It started with quiet whispering in the darkness, odd bank transactions, and a name, Mira Lawson, that haunted me like a new symphony. Logan, my spouse, was planning a dramatic breakup. He was determined to take it all. He overlooked my genuine strength. He thought I'd break under strain. I defied convention by moving first. I fiercely guarded my property. 1 week later, the world was about to change. His big plan collapsed before him. More than the treachery was its crushing impact. Time had shown the extent of his painstaking planning. He lied many times, and his willingness to take extreme measures to destroy everything I accomplished and believed in awoke to the silence of an empty bed, a painting of loneliness waiting for destiny. The chilly sheets beside me whispered the truth. Logan had since left, leaving an echo of absence that needed to be addressed. I thought he had left to replenish or quench his thirst. His voice cut through the fuzz as I woke up, a whisper of determination that roused my soul, softly spoken but focused. The hallway's light was inert, but a bright sliver of moonlight came through the window, illuminating the shadows on the floor. I followed the echo with suspense, my stomach churning. Wait a moment. She blissfully ignores the impending storm. Stopping, I choked on my breath. Logan's voice soothed and calmed the listener despite the pandemonium. Heart thudded violently. He dared speak to whom? I stood there, poised and resolute, trying to hear every elusive word. But the sounds that followed were unknown. A breath of intense fervor left his lips as his tone sank. I made strong fists to seize the moment. This was no ordinary late-night business call. It was a momentous call to action that required focus and resolve. Logan always led work calls without a whisper. He didn't care if I heard his comments in the air. Each possibility was scarier than the last in my imagination. His footsteps echoed moments later, moving closer with intent. I grasped every opportunity to get back to the bedroom as he came from the shadows around the corner. I lay down to sleep with a racing heart. I felt the bed give way in that moment. Despite his weight shifting alongside me, I kept my breath calm. After a few moments, he breathed deeply, as if the world had vanished, leaving just serenity. As I rolled over, my eyes flickered open to greet his. Where were you when the world needed you? My voice was a delicate whisper, heavy with sleep residue, like I had just woken up. Bathroom, he said calmly. Was it deceptive? What about the call? Despite hardships, Logan remained strong. As a client, I entered the arena to enhance a case's intricate nuances, ready to face the challenges. I stared at him for any hint of uncertainty. He stared at me, a mystery unbreakable. Maybe I was thinking too much. Perhaps it was ambition's unrelenting chase. But that whisper, that forceful proclamation, she is blissfully unaware of the storm growing around her. Pushing past the weight in my chest, I mustered the effort to turn over. My thoughts was a tornado of urgency, but I chose to ignore it. Now is not the time. Time is not here, not yet. Long before Logan woke up, I awakened with purpose at morning. He slept with his arm across the pillow, taking up my headspace. I bravely left my bed, grabbed my phone, and entered the kitchen barefoot. I usually overlooked our finances. Logan managed the funds, which I never considered. An uneasy feeling persisted. I handled transactions with determination. I gripped my stomach hard. $500, $1,000, $200, $750, $2,000, 12 withdrawals in 3 months. Demonstrate resilience and determination. Though small, their frequency is alarming. Logan and I pooled funds. Homeownership is a significant future investment, vital services for daily life. Nutritional necessities, however, we proudly kept personal accounts for excesses. These transactions were not for mundane bills, sensible investments, or previously discussed topics. They were a huge revelation waiting to happen. Breathing deeply, I tightened my phone grasp. The sound of footsteps reminded me that I'm never alone. I quickly locked my screen and turned to see Logan at the doorway, thoughtfully stroking his neck. Morning, he said, his voice resonating with dreams. What should we eat to start the day? I set my phone down to enjoy the moment. My tongue was poised to utter the inquiry. With a confident grin, he took his coffee like a victor. "It looks your time has come to shine." He boldly put the glass to his lips, his other hand on the counter, exuding serene strength. "I risked checking our bank account this morning." Logan paused, heartbeat frozen, perfectly placed and long enough to stand out. He clenched the mug with intense determination, laughing despite the weight of the situation. "How will you proceed? Prepare for your daring move. Numerous tiny withdrawals occur." I stood tall, arms crossed, emanating furious intent. "I see unfamiliar shadows." Resolute, he made his decision. "Just small investments. Several great business ventures await. Ready to grab the moment and reach your potential? Take charge of the world's possibilities." Logan set his cup down with a firm nod, a quiet proclamation of determination. "You have nothing to worry about." Only temporary wins. He was deceiving. I knew it would happen. I struggled with the question in my head, amid a sea of doubt. Throughout the day, I struggled to ignore discomfort. Logan declined to help. Connected to his device, he led conversations remotely. His device rested on the table, its face veiled, guarding secrets. I saw an impassable barrier between us every time I looked at him, a witness to our unspoken realities. Never before seen here, my thoughts raged as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling that night. Logan illuminated the room with his unshakable confidence. Fluid, effortless, a persuasion master who could easily overcome any challenge with words. But I had been by his side long enough to see the air change and identify the shadows. Something was definitely wrong. I confidently faced him. He fell asleep. He breathed strongly, unwavering expression, like a secret-free warrior. My doubts persisted. I heard a tremendous whisper that revealed the facts I had suppressed all day. Do I see shadows where none exist? Is there a deeper truth? The morning sun valiantly peeked through my window, but skepticism persisted. The night was a constant fight of unrest as an unpleasant sense whispered that something was wrong. I was haunted by Logan's words from the night before, a powerful reminder of the event that changed everything. Unassuming but bold. Unyielding but carefully planned, a superb deceiver is subtle and reveals secrets while standing confidently in the light. I woke up and started my morning routine, but each step felt like a reflection of my inner self. My thoughts replayed every interaction and warning signs I bravely ignored in the months that had passed. Logan entered the kitchen with confidence as if time had stopped. He kissed my temple and said, "Good morning, my love. We must take charge of our finances. Prepare for the unexpected. It can happen anytime." I stood there gripping the coffee mug harder as determination raced through me. "Our finances?" I felt purpose. He said this, leaning against the counter, relishing his coffee as if this were just another moment in life. "Is your account inventory complete? Access keys? What treasures do you hold? Such minor issues? We must concentrate our resources in one stronghold." My heartbeat sounded like a battle drum as I stared at him. Logan had never attempted to investigate my money. We had a common account for our duties, but we fiercely guarded our separate money, proving our independence. Our path was a monument to our tenacity. I swallowed hard to appear calm. "I can make something amazing." His lips smiled softly, but his eyes danced briefly. He nodded as if the moment didn't matter, then confidently led the conversation into unexplored area. My thoughts accelerated unstoppably. This went beyond us. This went beyond emergency planning. Logan prepared for the great challenge on the brink of destiny. Whatever it was, he tried to hide it from me so I wouldn't see it approaching. Logan was peaceful that evening, a big change from his typical self. He laughed at the screen, danced over his phone like the world was still, and brazenly suggested takeout. He exemplified a committed partner with grace. That's what gave me chills. He had changed, changing his stride and voice. The performance was flawless and effortless. Everything changed then. Logan decided to cleanse himself, leaving his phone on the coffee table as a mute witness to his transformation. He constantly monitored his phone. Forever. It caught my attention, my heart beating. The screen lay face down, silently commemorating the weeks of silence. A bright notification lit up the screen, as if the universe was reaching out to me. Pay heed to a powerful message and a strange but intriguing name. Mira Lawson implies power and resolve. That moment was too urgent for thought. I held the phone, shivering with expectation, determined. The message preview that might change everything appeared as I angled the screen. Keep her in shadow. Nearing greatness. I choked on my breath. A stinging agony ran through my chest as it constricted. It seemed like the walls collaborated to enclose my spirit as the room shrank. Who was mysterious Mira Lawson near the finish line? What did they mean? My fingers lingered above the screen for a heartbeat, yet it was enough to spark my wildest dreams. Is another strong woman entering the spotlight? Did Logan plan to leave? Was he hiding wealth? I felt silence when the water stopped. I collapsed into the couch with a great determination after returning the phone, energy rushing through me. I clenched my knees and mustered all my power to control my shaking hands. Logan entered the room moments later, confidently towel-drying his hair and exuding charisma. I mustered all my strength to look him in the eye. He oozed calm, confident confidence that concealed the tempest breaking within me, for I had just seen a truth I was never supposed to see. "Have you chosen a daring dinner?" he asked, tousling his hair boldly. I inhaled, bracing for what was to come. Not yet. Without hesitation, he grabbed his phone. Release it effortlessly, unwavering determination as if nothing could stop it. But I discovered a new truth. I spent the rest of the night deciphering what happened. Perhaps it was never my vision. Perhaps Mira was a powerful ally in the big field of ambition. The shadows around me may have been generated by a truth more innocent than I thought. I held an unavoidable truth in my soul. Each piece fit perfectly, creating momentum. The disappearance of Cash cast a cloud upon secrecy. An unsettling call broke the night's calm, sparking suspicion. His attention turned to my finances, sending shivers down my spine. I should have confronted him then. However, if my senses were right and Logan was hiding such a huge truth, I would find out. Undisputed proof. I chose silence, a profound choice that resonated with me. I let him kiss me goodnight and go to bed as if everything was fine. It was then that I lay there with my phone, spilling my secrets into the darkness. Who questions Mira Lawson's presence? As dawn broke, the question haunted me, wanting to be answered. As a determined ghost, I completed my morning tasks with grace. However, my thoughts were firmly focused. Mira Lawson implies power and resolve. I kept thinking about the name, a disturbing riddle that demanded my attention. Logan sat across from me at breakfast, confidently swiping through his phone. I wondered if he knew I saw that message. Perhaps he was a master of deception. Despite the tension, he lifted his gaze and smiled through the doubt. "Dear, could you sign something for me? It matters." I almost gasped as the thick drink escaped my hands, threatening a startling awakening. "You want to sign what?" I asked jocularly. He confidently said, "Here are the financial updates you need for tax purposes," as he handed the document across the table, demonstrating the power of knowledge and preparation. He seemed confident, but his fingers danced over the table, generating a forceful, surprising rhythm that captivated. A revelation. I grabbed the papers and examined the first page, feeling tense. One reality shone through the legal jargon. This went beyond taxation. I flipped to the last page, eager to finish this voyage. A powerful property transfer agreement. I heard my heartbeat, a powerful reminder of my strength and drive. My strengths, my prized possession, even dreams home. He would modify and claim everything, declaring ownership and destiny. I found every ounce of strength to look up. Logan stared at me with a deliberate smile, as if he could decipher the moment. My voice was firm when I spoke Logan. This wonder before me? Despite hardships, his smile remained strong. "This is a precaution, sweetie. A justice tool. Our bond will never change." I focused on him and tightened my grip on the paper. "Everything stays the same? You dare ask me to give up everything I love?" "Not everything," he said confidently, as if that might change the fact. "Taking risks to protect what matters. If fate strikes unexpectedly," fear shaking gripped my hands. From unwavering rage, not fear. This went beyond paranoia. This was no guess. This was fated. He dared to sit before me, acting indifferent as if nothing mattered. I gracefully returned the document to the table, conscious of my strength. Our eyes connected, sparking. I won't sign this. His smile showed defiance. A storm was rising in his jaw before he let forth a strong, rebellious chuckle. Overcome the drama, Lauren. It's only a formality on the way to greatness. I remained steadfast. Why do you want me to sign without understanding? The expression changed to steely resolve. You want to avoid this route, Lauren. He leaned in intently, his whisper commanding attention. However, a terrifying warning waited beneath the surface. I stared at him steadfast. Is that difficult? Logan halted, thinking silently. Instead, he reclined in his chair, arms folded, his visage becoming a menacing enigma. His confident smile evaporated, replaced by a terrifying tranquility that sent shivers down the spine. I believe you're complicating this unnecessarily, he said, his voice cool and controlled. I controlled my anger while appearing cool. He maintained his dominance, seeing me as just another piece in his carefully organized game. I watched him closely, his fingers tapping across the table, his jaw quivering as my silence lingered, a forceful statement. He stood there waiting for my response, hoping for a flash of emotion, terror, or vulnerability to break my resolve. I won't satisfy him. I used my authority with a slight smile, making him squirm. Logan, hear me? I stood up and collected the strewn papers with purpose. The time has arrived for introspection and decisive action. The intensity of his gaze increased. The twist of fate surprised him. I had already turned and walked briskly to the kitchen where I carefully placed the documents on the counter, demonstrating my resolution. I avoided conflict. The time is not right. Here, I took control of my fate. Logan masked the storm beneath him that night with apathy. He walked around our sanctuary as if we were still in joyful union, poured himself a drink, digesting the news, and aimlessly browsing through his phone, unmoved by his treachery and attempt to take all I held dear. I felt a deep realization settle my heart as I watched him. This was never about saving our union. His goal was not to fix the shattered components. He planned his spectacular departure. He wanted to take it all as he left. The next morning, I found him in the living room, holding his coffee without a care in the world. As I took my seat opposite him, his gaze met mine, and he felt the air change instantly. He purposefully set his cup down, saying, "We must talk." I boldly inclined my head, ready for anything. Indeed, the weight he carried was evident in every breath, as if he were fighting alone. We must forge our own paths. That glimmer of possibility stood. His words were forceful, well-planned, and delivered with unshakable conviction, like a warrior on the battlefield. He said it, lost its strength, his voice steady. You must see this. My stare was unwavering on him. He didn't want to break up. It was happening before us, he said. With a heartbeat in the silence, I waited to gather my strength before speaking. You have carefully planned your strategy, right? He flashed a spark over his face before I could grasp it. This is Sarya's route to greatness. Separation has occurred, slipped into other worlds. Does he really choose that path? I leaned forward, arms on the table, ready to act. So you want freedom. You must seize the moment and win, not lose. He silently testified to his boldness and truth with a firm line on his lips. I could have roared loudly. When I was angry, it felt like the air surrounding me was tense and daring me to act wild. I stood firm because I was changing, a ferocious new vigor erupting from inside like a phoenix from the ashes. I boldly relaxed in my chair, tilting my head slightly, savoring the moment. I spoke those fateful words with unshakable resolve. I moved my assets decisively. Logan's entire being became resolute. His breath seized in his throat, a frozen moment. While some may have missed it, I felt its impact. You imply what? His authoritative voice pierced the air. I grinned intently. Exactly as it seems. His jaw hardened with determination. That moment brought lightning clarity. At that moment, defeat hit him like a hurricane, igniting his desire. He methodically planned his master plan for months, perfecting every aspect to ensure his success. But he grossly miscalculated my strength. He hated that to the core. We shared an intense quiet with unspoken words and stress. Logan finally breathed deeply and stood up, determined. He sipped his coffee slowly, then looked at me with a glance that sent thrills down my spine. His smile returned, a symbol of strength. This time the chill was greater, a stark reminder of our battles. Strategically ready! Lauren, your decisions will haunt you. She stood at the crossroads of doubt between danger and a desperate ruse. She remained calm and determined to achieve her goals. After Logan made his move, she could rise and take her chance. The morning air was thick with expectancy as I went about my usual. The apartment's stifling silence and the coffee's bitterness reminded me of solitude. I swear to rise above his remarks from the night before and not let them define me. A loud knock interrupted the silence, demanding attention. Cutting edge. Well planned. Legal and undisputed. I carefully set my coffee down and inhaled before revealing it. On the other side, a navy blazered figure held a large envelope with resolve. Is this Lauren Keller? Absolutely. Symbolizing promise and potential, he proudly delivered the envelope. Release your voice. Silence will not define you. Your time has come. As he left, I grasped the documents with a hard determination. I felt the envelope's weight more than its shape implied. Without revealing anything, the reality was obvious. The weight and significance resonated with me. I found the strength to sit at the kitchen table and breathed sharply as I deftly pushed my nail under the flap to reveal the documents. Be released from marriage. I scanned the page, focusing on my daunting financial obligations. Logan left boldly. He boldly claimed a portion of it all, full of ambition, home of dreams. The vehicle, half of our collaboration. Because of his arrogance, spousal support was required. I shook my head in disbelief and laughed sharply. He thought he could rule the world. He planned this moment for months, possibly longer, developing anticipation and determination. My companion seemed distant, an icy fortress in a warm world, but this was well planned. I sat across from my attorney, eager to grasp the opportunity and shape my fate, smelling polished wood and freshly printed documents. A proud smirk threatened to escape as she flipped through the papers with strong purpose, reaching the financial breakdown. She said with intense intent, drumming her nails on the desk, "He owns nothing." I raised an eyebrow, silently challenging. Everything changes. Instantly, her eyes lit up with amusement. Suddenly, everything changes. You defended your valuables with unshakable strength before he could strike. He is legally forbidden from access. He may fight for spousal support, but your earning history shows otherwise. We're losing time, and it feels like the universe is conspiring against us. Remember that every setback prepares you for a bigger one. Be confident and face the task. I exhaled deeply, felt the weight of the world lift from my shoulders and the tension from that fateful knock release. Finally, after weeks of uncertainty, I took control of my destiny. Logan spent hours convincing himself he was the game's master, plucking the strings with assurance. He grossly underestimated my strength. As I absorbed the rich perfume of my freshly poured wine, the front door slammed open, echoing around the room. I remained steadfast. Logan stood with a powerful rage radiating from him. His tie was tangled, his face strained, and his emotions turbulent. "Do you think you know everything?" His voice pierced the air with toxicity. I sipped my wine, loving his rage rolling around him, an emotional force he could no longer suppress. I take a risk to protect my spirit, standing tall and embracing my strength. His hands clenched at his sides, stress rising. Your design was realized. I deliberately set my drink down, turning my head in defiance. You did too. We were separated by a huge quiet filled with unspoken words and stress, heavy with unspoken judgments. He finally exhaled sharply and announced, "This isn't over," his gaze deepening. Released my breath deliberately. I won the first fight, but the real fight was just beginning. After weeks of anguish, I felt relief and strength when Logan's control on my finances finally crumbled. Deep down, I should have known he would never disappear without a struggle. Workplace difficulties started. Glances lit a fire inside. Intense, lingering stares that can ignite a fire within. I entered the room to find a heavy curtain of silence and unspoken words. Emily, my assistant, stood at the threshold of my office at mid-morning, a moment of indecision hanging in the air like a charged storm about to strike. "Hello, friend. I have a significant revelation to share." I looked away from the screen, exhausted. What's this powerful force? She moved with great resolve, enjoying her stress. A hint of mystery permeates. Although silence was tempting, I spoke out. Her hands twisted with strain and determination. Simply tell me. Emily breathed deeply, unsure but determined. Despite accusations of stealing monies from pooled accounts, she remained determined to navigate the complexities of financial fraud. I stared at her, a silent tempest developing. Words hit like thunder. This is what? What's up? What's ahead? The unknown holds possibilities. In defiance, she said, I refuse to accept this. However, Logan has been having intense interactions with others. Justice advocates, allies. The story is spreading like wildfire. A fury raged in my stomach like an unquenchable fire. Logan wanted more than my money. He wants to erase my identity. I felt the weight of the world on me as I arrived to my lawyer's office. But I stood erect, willing to face whatever came next. This must cease. Seize the moment. I threw the stack of printed screenshots onto the desk, shaking violently. Kathleen, my lawyer, glanced at them and laughed dryly, defying them. His desperation is obvious. He denigrates me. We can harness that power. She sat in her chair, methodically tapping her pen on the surface, determined. He unintentionally defames himself by rushing through dishonesty and making unsubstantiated charges. We start with a forceful cease and desist. If he ignores this, we'll step up. With a furious determination, I stiffen my jaw. This cannot continue in court. He must stop this behavior forever. Kathleen sighed with hidden power and determination. He wants to provoke Lauren, rise above his tactics, and stay strong. He wants to awaken your deepest feelings. Indeed, she is right. I turned to face Tessa, poised beside the door, her gaze strong and understanding. You hold the power to shape your destiny, she ventured into the fray. You stumble in haste, and he wins. I nodded rigidly, suppressing my anger. I had a storm inside. Logan yearned for conflict. He was about to take it all. At the exclusive LaRue in the city center, I found him laughing and joking with two colleagues, their glasses lifted in celebration. His cool demeanor sparked my furious determination. How could he sit there unconcerned after causing my name so much trouble? My resolve grew with each heartbeat. I remained calm and refused to let anarchy rule. I held my ground, not crying, no need to cooperate. I stood my ground. I confidently walked to the table, leaned in and whispered, "You have no clue what you've started." Logan's cocky smirk wavered for a heartbeat, but he quickly hid it with seamless charm. He wiped his mouth with a tissue, his eyes aglow with purpose. "Show me your spirit's strength and let the world see it." My final ultimatum was given with tenacity. I'd had enough of fairness games. Logan had been manipulating, intimidating, and controlling me for weeks. You always underestimated my strength and resolve. After trying to steal my money and ruin my name, he was making one last desperate move. A desperate guy is powerful. I was enjoying my morning coffee when my phone rang, interrupting my peace and sparking anticipation. "Kathleen," I said, feeling pressure before she spoke. "You must enter now," my lawyer authoritatively said, breaking the silence. Logan courageously requested a thorough financial audit. The words struck me like lightning, creating a furious force within me. I put my drink down and took a big breath with intent. "How are you authorized?" Kathleen breathed a deep, determined sigh. "He openly demands a financial accounting, claiming you mismanaged pooled resources. It may appear ridiculous, but that's not the point." It was far from it. I muttered, "He wants to drain my soul. Challenges, costs, and pressure. He wants to tire me because he knows the chances are against him." Indeed. My deep hatred fueled my determination. Logan never sought conventional victory. He fought tirelessly to wear out his opponent. "I will excel this time," I confidently said. "I'll be there in an hour," before hanging up. Kathleen was ready and was displaying Logan's gestures with fierce red annotations as I entered her office. She said, "Here lies the good news," with determination. "He stands before us without evidence. The sad truth? If the court falls for his deception, this battle could last weeks or months." I tightened my grasp, determined to face whatever came next. Our daring next step? She determinedly vowed that we will counterfile and demand instant firing. We are certain that if the court finds this a ruse to delay justice, he must pay all legal fees. A confident grin appeared. Take this opportunity and rise to the challenge. 2 weeks later, I sat across from Logan in the hallowed halls of justice, tense and anticipatory. He stood there, immaculately dressed, his tie fiercely wrapped around his neck, a sneer on his lips, ready to conquer the world. He considered this his turning point. His lawyer confidently led the room. Your Honor, my client believes Mrs. Keller has taken questionable steps to protect assets and avoid a fair divorce. A complete forensic audit of all financial transactions over the past 6 months is required. I remained steadfast. Kathleen steadily adjusted her spectacles and rose. Your Honor, my client made all financial decisions before Mr. Keller filed for divorce. Our integrity will not be tarnished by mismanagement or deception. She boldly thrust the heavy binder forward, demonstrating her determination. This is clear financial harassment. Thus, we seek the immediate dismissal of this move with prejudice and that Mr. Keller pay all legal fees. Judge carefully inspected documents, their expression a fortress of incomprehension. A deep hush surrounded the intense crackling. Logan stared at me, silently daring me to fall. I denied him satisfaction. After much anticipation, the judge raised their gaze. The court boldly denies a detailed financial audit. The motion was denied, a moment of determination and resilience. Since the evidence is elusive, Mr. Keller will pay all legal expenditures related to this claim. A daring move. Authority thunders through the chamber. Logan was defeated again instantly. Logan walked silently by me outside the courtroom, a muscular figure in tension. However, as he passed, his words reached me. Believe this is the end? Watch brilliance unfold. I won this war, but I knew the stakes. Logan waited to strike the ultimate blow. Men his level don't disappear without a fight. Despite obstacles, they rise. They bolster their forces and improve their strategies to return stronger. And Logan, the name is powerful and demands attention. He had planned and strategized too long to lose this way. The reality came quickly, exposing his final decision's power. The call came with promise at morning. Kathleen urgently announced, "Lauren, a storm is coming." Clinging to the phone, I was determined. What will we conquer next? Stillness hung in the air, fraught with anticipation. The loud rustle of papers signaled change and determination. Logan and Elia bravely filed a suit. They accuse you of financial fraud. Their evidence shows your chutzpah in altering financial records for months. I went into great calm after losing my breath. If true, this charge would imply more than a financial loss. I risk legal consequences. Kathleen said they filed the documentation. Her voice tense. You will be immersed in a criminal inquiry if the court takes this case seriously. The environment changed slightly, as if prepared for a big change. I pushed my fingers to my temple, gathering all my power to stay calm. Are the documents authentic? The other end offered a mocking laugh and challenge. Not at all. However, they shine. They were skillfully modified. Absolutely. Elia, the unseen entity driving Logan, controls each step. Kathleen said she had Tessa check them before contacting you. She found her strength. Souls glow with possibility. This is what? What's up? You mean what? She stood erect, her eyes narrowing as she decoded the bank transfer timestamps, each one a clue to the truth. They thought they could fool, but neglected a critical truth that would unravel their plan. When the transactions were purported to have occurred, such accounts were fantasy. My commitment was shown by my forceful breath. That was it. That decision doomed them. My fear burned, strengthening my resolve. Logan, I was up for a challenge. I stood on the edge, ready to decide. As I entered Kathleen's office, I felt strong resolve. I had decided. I was ready to conquer, not just defend. I was ready to let them go and move forward. I put my palms on her desk and stated my intent to take command, determined to seize the moment. To rise up and destroy them, not just recover my reputation. Kathleen stared at me closely before nodding decisively. Excellent. We have the strength and drive to succeed. She boldly pointed to the folder, inviting you to discover its secrets. We contacted a forensic financial expert to uncover the facts. Their validation confirmed Tessa's findings. Documents were altered. The strong delight in her expression showed her strength and commitment. Grab the opportunity and act. We aggressively file a motion to reveal the fake documents. Let us sue Logan and Ilya for deception and truth bending. I nodded decisively. I want full compensation. Kathleen reclined, beaming. You responded as expected. I faced Logan in court 2 weeks later, ready to weather the storm. For the final judgment, I watched him carefully while Kathleen confidently argued our point. She spoke with authority and clarity, commanding the room. Presented as incriminating proof against my client, these documents are lies. We are resolute, armed with proof that the financial transactions are imaginary. The forensic analyst stood firm, revealing each phony timestamp and distorted figure. Logan's lawyers groaned. Knowing triumph was slipping away, they stood on the brink of defeat. The final strike followed. Kathleen boldly placed a new folder on the judge's desk, showing her determination. Your Honor, my client countersues Mr. Keller and his collaborator, Mira Lawson, for defamation and submitting forged legal proof in the face of these unsubstantiated charges. The courtroom was silent, weighted with anticipation. Logan's lawyer leaned in fiercely, whispering with approaching destiny. Logan's steely face and jaw are set with determination. Finally, his powerful lawyer stood up and spoke with determination. Your Honor, my client openly retracts his claims. He definitely did. He had no choice. The judge nodded decisively, silently affirming the important decisions ahead. This motion was overturned, showing resilience and strength. Mr. Keller will also pay all legal fees, standing firm. Logan lost. Absolutely. Logan passed me silently as we left the courthouse, a muscular figure filled with anxiety. Not intervening, I stood my ground. I stood firm, knowing I was not required to. I let him go, then whispered loud enough for him to hear me. This chapter ends powerfully. I regained a spark after what seemed like an age. Peace rules. Court hearings are over. The time of fear is over. Stand tall. No longer will Logan's next move frighten you at night. I won. It was not the spectacular triumph I had hoped for. There were no fireworks or spectacular farewells. Only absolute calm remains. The kind that appears after the storm, when the sky are heavy but thunder has stopped. For once, stillness gave me strength rather than terror. Kathleen was my last opponent 2 days later. She pushed the last stack of papers across her desk with a forceful move, demonstrating her determination. The time has come. Logan boldly signed the resolution, sealing its fate. With a deep breath, I gathered my strength and grabbed the documents with purpose. I studied the details, knowing the inevitable outcome. Logan returned with no coins. His claims of wealth, throwaway. His fight for justice, it exploded in my face. His legacy, devastated. He tried to break my spirit, but he came up empty-handed, proving his collapse. Kathleen leaned back in her chair, silently watching me. Which emotions stir you? My breath danced as I laughed softly. Elevated, her confidence shone. Excellent. You deserve that. Accept it wholeheartedly. I put the documents in my backpack and nodded, ready to face whatever came next. Now was the time. The greatest advance, my hand extended purposefully as I rose. Kathleen, I appreciate your work. With tenacity, she shook it. Lauren, seize the moment and enjoy your vacation. Now is your chance to grasp what you battled for. For the first time in years, I believed her completely. That night, Tessa and my mother demanded a supper to celebrate our hard-fought victory. Carol fiercely hugged me as I entered her refuge, her eyes sparkling with relief. With determination, she pronounced it finished. Indeed, I whispered confidently, yes, indeed. Tessa hoisted her glass high and poured the sparkling nectar, smiling boldly. To freedom, and never letting a man think he can outwit you again. With the triumphant clink of our glasses, we laughed in celebration. Raise our glasses for this historic occasion. We ate. We had a powerful conversation. We looked back with strength and purpose. I stood straight without fear for the first time in what felt like an age, no longer looking towards the shadows. I stood firm, not expecting another strike. The fight is over. As night fell, I stood on my balcony, staring at the Chicago skyline, a symbol of hopes and resolve. The city lights bravely shone onto the boundless horizon. All resonated more intensely. I had become a force, no longer the lady who ignored ominous signs. She overcame her past self, and the deception of safety and permanency faced lost shadows. Trust the journey, enjoy the moments. I thought my love vision was mine. I was stronger than ever, power, illumination. Seize power. A tremendous pulse came from my phone on the table near me. I watched the TV to seize the moment. A cryptic call awaits. Without stopping, I moved forward. Impeded? Resolving, I opened my laptop again, revealing endless possibilities. Expect a stunning new chapter. A new story awaits. My path opens up. I said with determination, this is my narrative to construct from now on, closing my laptop. As we conclude, let me share a notion that will stay with you and inspire you. Life challenges us unexpectedly, forcing us to rise and triumph. In vulnerable times, our loved ones often disappoint us, forcing us to rebuild trust. The powerful reality I found is this. Strength is rising above betrayal with unshakable resolution, not avoiding it. After falling, your ascent depends on your strength. At the brink of my marriage, I could fall or rise. Above the tumult, my mind may have been filled with worry and mistrust. However, I bravely rose and fought. This is a fight for my dignity, independence, and future, not just my money. Please accept this profound truth from this story. Your strength is limitless. Unleash it. When you feel like the ground has disappeared from under you after betrayal, remember this. Together with many, you stand strong. You never travel alone. In life's worst storms, you discover your actual self. In moments of clarity, leaving what no longer inspires you is your greatest victory. I want your voice. Have you ever had to fight for your truth, even when the universe appeared against you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I relentlessly absorb each one. If this story moves you, share it in the comments or where you're seeing it. If you want more inspiration and adventure, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. The voyage has only begun and the best is yet to come. Till we meet again, embrace your strength, use your wisdom, and aggressively defend your authority from those who would undermine it.